The Precautionary Principle, Used with Precaution, by Azlan Adnan, M.A. There is wisdom in the idea that everything is correct until proven wrong. This default stance, drawn from the philosophical tradition of fallibilism, assumes that what we know is provisionally true until evidence suggests otherwise. It allows human progress, scientific, medical, social, to continue with confidence while leaving room for correction. But this philosophy does not mean we charge ahead blindly. Sometimes caution is not just wise, it is essential. Enter the precautionary principle. What is the precautionary principle? The precautionary principle is a moral and policy guideline used in situations where there is scientific uncertainty and the stakes are high. It advises that if an action or policy carries a risk of severe or irreversible harm to the public or the environment, in the absence of full scientific certainty, the burden of proof falls on those advocating the action, not those opposing it. Put simply, if there is a chance that something could go very badly wrong, we should think twice before proceeding, even if we don't have all the data yet. It is the ethical equivalent of better safe than sorry, especially when the consequences could be catastrophic. But when does precaution become paranoia? While well-intentioned, the precautionary principle can backfire if applied without discernment. If used indiscriminately, it can stifle innovation, paralyze decision-making, and delay potentially life-saving or planet-saving technologies. The world does not afford us the luxury of eternal hesitation. Not every unknown is dangerous, and not every risk is unacceptable. Consider the example of mRNA vaccines for COVID-19. At the height of the pandemic, there was an urgent need to protect billions from a fast-spreading and deadly virus. mRNA technology, though relatively new in commercial use, had been studied for decades. Regulatory authorities worldwide conducted accelerated but rigorous testing. Here, applying the precautionary principle too strictly by insisting on many more years of testing could have meant millions more deaths. Prudence required action, not paralysis. Contrast this with the early days of genetically modified, GMO, food. Here, the long-term ecological and health effects were not fully understood, and the benefits were often economic rather than life-saving. Applying the precautionary principle in this context, through labeling laws, regulatory oversight, and targeted bans, was more appropriate. It allowed space for research, dialogue, and adaptation, rather than forcing society to swallow untested changes to its food system. When is precaution prudent? We should exercise the precautionary principle when three conditions converge. First, the potential harm must be significant. Threats to human health, biodiversity, or ecosystems qualify. Second, there must be scientific uncertainty, not merely ignorance, but genuine disagreement or lack of clarity within the scientific community. Third, the consequences of being wrong must be severe or irreversible. Nuclear energy, climate geoengineering, and the release of artificial intelligence into critical decision-making systems are further examples where precaution is warranted. The risks in these domains are existential, and the long-term consequences unknown. Once such technologies are unleashed, rolling them back may be impossible. Like any tool, the precautionary principle should be used judiciously. It is not a license to avoid all risk, nor a cloak for ideological opposition to science. Instead, it is a philosophical safety valve, a reminder that in some domains, especially where we don't get a second chance, we must act with care. Progress and caution are not enemies. They are partners in the complex dance of human development. If everything is correct until proven wrong empowers us to explore, then the precautionary principle urges us to watch our step on the edge of the unknown. In the end, it is not a choice between belief and doubt, but a matter of balance to know when to leap and when to look twice.